Hello, thanks for joining us here at 6. I'm Hoyt alongside Chief Meteorologist Tom Brannon. Faith is off once again, and as we approach this weekend, you should have been following along with us all week. We are looking at severe weather headed this way just in time for big football games all over the map, festivities, fairs, concerts, and so now how has that timeline come together, Tom?
Well, the good news, the timing has come together. We've been dealing with certain forecast models, at least several different ones, and the good news is that we're beginning to see them all kind of congeal into a timing that is consistent. Consistency is what we're after here. Afternoon and evening for Saturday. Weather impact alert day, by the way, for central Arkansas and the metro from 2 to 9 p.m. tomorrow. It's going to be a little earlier northwest and western Arkansas, a little later in the southeast. 1 or 2 strong, 2 severe thunderstorms. This is a low-end threat, not a widespread severe weather outbreak, but we could still have damaging wind gusts. We could see hail. A brief tornado can't be ruled out. That's just part of the package. So you need to stay alert and informed. Make sure you have THV 11 Plus downloaded to your TV, your smart TV from Amazon, Roku, Apple, even certain Samsung TVs have THV 11 Plus. We're going to stream tomorrow. Simone Thomas will be up at 9 o'clock tomorrow with our first stream, and she'll tell you where the thunderstorms are located. I don't think we're going to see much in the state until late morning, early afternoon. The impact alert day really for more in the afternoon. Beautiful weather conditions behind the system coming in Sunday and Monday will actually feel like fall here in the natural state. Outside, it is still quite warm, 84 downtown, 86 Texarkana, 77 in Fayetteville. And if you were heading out to the fair tonight, it looks good. No worries whatsoever. Again, talking about the timing of those storms, I'll have what projected future radar could look like here in just a few minutes.
All right, Tom, thank you. Tonight, the Arkansas Department of Human Services says 11 employees are on leave and 1 has been fired after a resident died at the Southeast Arkansas Human Development Center in Warren. DHS officials say the incident happened early last month after, quote, a behavior incident that led staff to use physical and chemical restraints. After the review, they found the staff didn't follow proper protocol. The agency has named an interim superintendent at that facility and is working on reforms as the investigation continues. Pine Bluff police asking for your help as they search for the person responsible for a shooting last April. PBPD says the suspect ran from the South Catalpa Street scene immediately after the shooting. There's a number to reach detectives if you can help them generate some new leads, and it comes just a day after putting out a similar call for help in a different homicide case. This shooting happened at the Village Green Apartments last summer. You can call the same number if you have any information. Here in Little Rock, Mayor Frank Scott Jr. announcing that Michael Doan will get his interim tag removed. He's now the full-time fire chief for the city's fire department. Doan becomes Little Rock's 15th ever fire chief. He brings more than 2 decades of service to the table. The mayor said Doan has shown strong leadership and dedication to both the department and the community. And the new chief says he's excited.
Having grown up in the city, I've grown up on the fire department. It means a lot. It's an important role, and it's not one that I take lightly. I look forward to serving the residents in the city and engaging in the community and doing everything I can to continue the level of service that we already are accustomed to in the city of Little Rock.
Doan replaces Delphone Hubbard, who is now city manager after his appointment earlier this year. Pine Bluff native and Army veteran Nate Todd has filed to run for Jefferson County judge. The retired colonel announcing his campaign today says he wants to bring strong service-driven leadership to his hometown. He'll aim to unseat incumbent Gerald Robinson, who's been at the center of a contentious budget fight with the quorum court that included a county government shutdown earlier this year. Meanwhile, it's day 17 of the federal government shutdown, now in its 3rd longest in modern history, and lawmakers show no signs of progress in reaching a deal to end the funding stalemate. Democrats refuse to show any support for a short-term spending bill unless a measure extends health insurance subsidies that would expire at the end of the year. Republicans say that issue will have to wait until after the government reopens, though. Yesterday, the Senate failed to pass a bill that could have funded the Pentagon for the full year, and Republicans pointed the fingers at Democrats for failing it.
They are on record specifically and exclusively to block the paychecks of the troops, to block the funding of our national defense in a very dangerous moment in world history. It is absurd to us.
We look forward to sitting down with anyone, anytime, any place either here at the Capitol or back at the White House, to reopen the government, to enact a spending agreement that actually makes life better for the American people, while also addressing decisively the Republican health care crisis.
Representative Jeffries mentioned the White House there. Democrats have called on President Trump to take a more proactive role in negotiations, but a White House official says the president has no plans to personally intervene. And as the shutdown drags on, hundreds of public workers and government contractors are going without pay here in Arkansas. From TSA agents at the airport to other essential workers, families could be struggling to make ends meet about now. The Arkansas Food Bank is stepping in. They helped handing out boxes filled with shelf-stable food, fresh produce, protein, pet supplies, even cleaning essentials to help those hit hardest by the shutdown.
Feeding people is what the Arkansas Food Bank does every day, year-round. But as we know, right now we're in a very serious crisis because people are already missing paychecks. These are folks we count on to keep our skies safe, our water, food, so much that the government does for us that we don't even realize every day. So let's show them the love and really pour on the generosity during this shutdown.
And the food bank plans to continue distributions through the weekend and have other locations opened up, including at Hope's Closet and in Cabot up on next Thursday. A set of tax questions in Sherwood is drawing loud support and opposition. Ahead of the voting next month, we caught up with some who are for and against these measures. Mayor Mary Jo High-Townsell is leading the campaign to get 3 bond measures approved. State law requires them to be voted on separately, even though they all appear on the same ballot. The first would allow the city to issue up to $4.1 million in refunding bonds. The second focuses on recreation, as voters will decide whether to issue up to $79.8 million to upgrade city parks. And then the third measure asks voters to approve $11.5 million to design and build a new animal shelter.
A lot of people don't realize how much is actually here in Sherwood until you get off the interstate and come into Sherwood. And so by having these different programs, these proposed venues be more centrally, internally located in Sherwood, it allows them for that growth and that development inside our city, which is so important.
An off-year tax election, though, brings vocal opposition. They're raising concerns about a lack of details on how the new tax revenue would be spent.
It's not that I'm not in favor of growth. I do think we need growth, but there's one, it was a sunset tax that was passed in 2018, and so I think trust and credibility for the city would be to let that bond and that tax expire, and then create a new bond or a new tax.
Election day will be November 18th, early voting 2 weeks before that. The mayor is also planning to make herself available for a town hall next Tuesday at 6:30. Well, tomorrow, organizers are preparing for anti-Trump demonstrations in more than a dozen cities across the state. They hope to amplify concerns they say are being felt nationwide. They're calling it No Kings 2.0 as a follow-up to the large demonstrations held back in June that saw more than 1,000 people march across the Broadway Bridge over to North.
We want to show that people are not going to just sit back and accept some of the changes that have broken the law, violated the Constitution, and certainly broken lots of precedents about the power of the presidency.
The march starts at 11 in Little Rock and it coincides with a pride parade along West Capitol Ave. The two demonstrations are not officially connected. There will be barricades from Broadway to Arch Street. Put the phone away or pay. That is the message Arkansas State Police will be looking to send next week as they attempt to crack down on distracted driving. From Sunday till next Saturday, you can expect to see more troopers and highway patrol officers on the lookout for distracted drivers. According to the Highway Transportation Safety Administration, more than 3,000 people died in distracted driving crashes. Don't forget, anyone under 18 is banned from using a cell phone while driving in Arkansas. Drivers ages 18 to 21 can only use a phone if it's a hands-free device, and over 21 you can still talk and hold the phone while driving. There are new changes coming to the schedules for schools in North Little Rock. We'll show you the reason for the change, how it might affect your child's schedule. And a couple of statewide fairs taking place this weekend. You know about the big one here in Little Rock. We'll show you how you can get involved if the weather holds up.
If the weather holds up. You know, the Arkansas State Fair has not had many problems. Tomorrow could be one. On the other side of the frontal boundary that's going to bring storms, look at the numbers for next week. The low temperatures bottoming out in the 40s and 50s. Definitely a shot of fall on the way.